That's great. I just dropped something. We're here. We're back. All these damn hairs. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you are new, my name is Griselda. As you can see by the title of this video, today we are going to be trying a brand new foundation routine. I have been watching a few videos here and there, so we are going to try something different. You guys know me, I always do my foundation first. I never skip my primer, stay away from oils, and we are going to be doing the complete opposite today. So if you want to see me try this new foundation technique, then just keep on watching. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I am going to actually clip my hair so it is completely out of the way. First off, I already prepped my skin. I washed it, I did my toner, so on and so forth. I've been watching a few videos on YouTube because I wanted to kind of switch up my foundation routine, try something new, see what works, what doesn't work. I like the way that I do my skin already, but I also wanted to just try something new. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I always do my foundation first, and then I go in with my concealer, and then I hardly ever do any cream contours. So today's routine is gonna be completely different. Oh no! I'm also going to be adding a new product onto my skincare and removing a product. You guys know I love me my Milk Grip Primer, and I'm gonna skip priming my skin. So let's go ahead and get started. I was watching Amrezi's latest video, and she has very dry skin. I have an oily T-zone and pretty normal everywhere else. So I always stay away from oils just because I don't want to add more oil to my skin, because yeah, I'm not trying to look like I can fry some chicken. So because I am going to be doing a lot of steps with powder, I'm gonna try this technique to see how flawless my skin looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the KIEHLS Daily Reviving Concentrate oil. And I've already prepped my skin. I have my toner on. The only thing I haven't applied is my moisturizer, but we're gonna do that after we do the oil. This is like giving me a little bit of anxiety because I feel like that's already a lot of oil. We're gonna just test it out and see how it works. I'm gonna really work that into the skin because I don't want it to sit on top of my skin. I want to make sure that my skin absorbs it. So we're gonna really work that in. Trying something new always makes me a little anxious, to be honest with you guys, just because I don't know how it's gonna end up. We have to always hope for the best. For moisturizer, we're gonna be using the Shiseido Essential Energy Moisturizing Cream. This can be used day and night. I'm just gonna work that in. I also shaved my face. My skin feels extra smooth. Okay, so a lot of people actually don't use primer, which I'm kind of shocked. I use primer all the time, you guys know that. So we're gonna go ahead and skip that step. We're gonna move on to the products. Okay, so first step is we're gonna go ahead and use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Tan. This is gonna help me cover up any imperfections, any blemishes, kind of even out my skin tone first. I'm gonna start off by applying it right underneath the eyes because that's usually where I have pigmentation, because yo girl hasn't been able to sleep. I don't know if you guys can see it right here. Has a little bit of like a purple tint, so we are going to cover that up. And then I have a few blemishes here, some pigmentation, and I also get a little bit of redness like in this area, so we're just gonna go ahead and apply it there. So the whole point of this technique is to help you save a little bit more foundation. Just going in with my beauty blender and just work that in. I forgot to add a little bit around my lip area. I do have a little bit of pigmentation on there. And this concealer is a full coverage concealer, so it's gonna really cover up your imperfections, or if you have any pigmentation, it's really going to do the job for you. Moving on to the next step, we are going to highlight. I'm going to be using my NARS Creamy Concealer in the shade Medium 1 Custard. And this technique you guys have seen me do before, where I only highlight certain areas underneath the eyes. I'm going to do the same thing. I am just going to bring the concealer in here. And I'm not going to bring it all the way in. You also don't need to add all of that concealer underneath, because as you're blending it out, it's going to carry on to the rest of the under eye as well. And then this technique here is going to give you that cat eye effect. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm like running out with my concealer. I feel like I have like little antennas here. I'm gonna let that sit, and I'm gonna go in with my NARS concealer in the shade Medium Dark 2.75 Truffle. You guys know that I don't ever really do any cream contours or any cream product, because I just find that like I just get extra oily. So we are going to sculpt out the face with the concealer, and I'm doing like a little round tip to kind of give me a button nose effect. All right, so we are going to start blending everything in, and I'm going to start off by blending in the contour, and I'm going to be using this Persona brush. This is a highlight and blush brush, but I'm going to go ahead and use it to blend out the contour first, and we are just going to start buffing that in. And I'm starting off with the contour just because it'll be easier for me to blend the highlight into the contour a little bit better. And I always like to look very golden, so that's why I used a warm tone cream contour. I'm also going to define the bottom of my cheek a little bit more. For my nose, I am going to be using a smaller brush. All right, we're gonna be using this Luxie 121 mini taper brush to blend out the nose contour. I feel like for the nose contour, I should have used a cooler tone. That's okay. We're gonna set it with a cooler tone powder. I love how doing this trick right here gives me a button effect on the tip of the nose. So we're gonna go ahead and blend out the highlight part. I do feel like I don't have enough concealer underneath the eye. I'm like literally running out of this concealer, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And I'm not putting too much pressure when I am blending out the concealer, because that also picks up a lot of the product, so be mindful of that when you are blending out your concealer. What do we think so far? I don't know. I can never see the bigger picture until it's the bigger picture. I'm such a visual person that if you tell me something, I can't visualize it. I actually have to see it in order for me to fully understand what it looks like. So watching the process, I'm like always skeptical, because I'm just like, is it gonna look right? But once it's done, I'm just like, oh, okay, it does look good. So we just have to wait and see. You know how they say, trust the process? You have to trust the process. I'm not mad at that. It does give me like a nice base. Next, we are going to grab our foundation. I'm going to be using the Sheer Glow foundation in the shade Syracuse, which is a medium dark one. And we are going to just do one pump of that. And we are going to place it around the perimeter of the face where you used the least amount of product. And then just kind of blend everything together. I also wanted to apologize because I haven't uploaded my green juice. It's been such a crazy time a lot going on. I haven't forgotten, but when I was going to do it, which was the last week of October, if you follow me on Instagram, I literally went MIA for like 3 days because I do suffer of horrible tension headaches, and it literally knocked me down to the point where I couldn't even get up. I couldn't even get up to go to use the restroom because I felt like my head was going to explode. So I wasn't able to film the video. And then with this whole election thing, it's been like a non-stop like madness, and I have other things that I have been working on, so I do apologize for not having that video ready for you guys, but I will come very soon. That's like a side note. I wanted to like let you guys know what was going on, what has been going on. All right, so now that I have a base, I feel like I do like it. I can see the highlight, I can see the contour, and my skin looks a little bit more even. We're gonna go ahead and move on to setting underneath the eyes. So I'm gonna use my translucent powder. I'm gonna still do the same technique because I feel like I really like that technique where I set it very lightly with a thin layer of translucent powder, and then I go in and I bake. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna be using the Sigma Tapered highlighter F35 brush. I love using tapered brushes for underneath the eyes because it really allows me to get like right underneath my lash line. We're gonna set the under eye with this amount of translucent powder. We also gotta make sure that there are no creases, and start by just kind of patting that in. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and really bake underneath my eyes. I'm gonna mix the translucent honey and the translucent powder by Mercier, and I'm gonna be using my beauty blender. I'm gonna pick up the honey first and then the translucent powder, and I'm gonna pick up a generous amount. And I'm just going to create the same shape that I did when I started highlighting, but I'm really gonna press that in. And I am picking up a little bit more powder as I go, because as I'm pressing in the powder, it is absorbing onto my skin, so I do have to pick up a little bit more powder as I go. And the forehead area, I don't have to bake as much, just really like to work in the powder and pressing it in, because that's the area where I do get really oily. And then we're also gonna do the same thing underneath the cheekbone area. And then with the butt of the beauty blender, I'm gonna pick the translucent powder and then kind of pat it on my hand first, and then just like set the perimeter of the face. All right, so I don't want to leave the bottom area baking for a long time. So I'm gonna, instead of dusting it off, I'm gonna press it in to the skin, because that is really going to seal that area. Moving on to bronzer, I'm gonna be using the Heat Spell bronzer and highlighting duo by HAUS Laboratories, and I am going to be using this color right here called Kindle. We are going to be using the MAC 140S brush, and I'm really going to work that bronzer in. You know me, I love me a good bronze skin. And what's really funny about this whole process is that I actually don't feel my skin feeling oily because of all of the steps that I'm taking by really pressing in the powder, really working in that translucent all over. For my nose contour, I'm going to be using my Laguna bronzer, which looks like this. It's a little bit more cool tone, and I'm going to be picking up this Morphe brush. Doesn't have a number. I think it came in a set, if I'm not mistaken, but I just like how it's fluffy, it's long, it's a little bit more fluffier than an actual pencil brush. We are going to use that to contour the nose with the powder, and it also helps to use a fluffy brush because it's also blending it in towards the translucent powder, so it doesn't leave any harsh lines. And let's not forget to do the same thing to give you that button nose effect. All right, so this is another step that I've never done before, which I am going to try for the very first time today and see how I like it. I'm gonna pick up my Tapered highlighter F35 brush by Sigma. Usually what I do, and you guys have seen me do this a million times, I usually just dust everything off underneath my eyes, underneath my cheeks. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to press everything in instead of dusting it off. So this is going to help with the wearability. If you are a little bit more on the drier side, I would highly recommend to skip this step. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in like a circular motion to kind of buff everything together. I do see a huge difference in my skin. It does look a lot smoother. So next step is adding a little bit of Fix Plus. This step I naturally always do to take away that powdery finish. So I'm gonna Fix Plus my face. I'm gonna spray Fix Plus on my skin to remove that powdery look. Whew. If you want a little bit more definition, this is where you can go back in with the translucent powder and define the areas that you want to define. I feel like I am good, so I am going to move on to blush. I'm going to be using a NARS Orgasm blush, which is like a really pretty pink tone. We're going to use this Farah brush. Doesn't have a number. But this is what it looks like. As of lately, I've really been loving like pink tone blushes on my skin. I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup off camera and then I will be right back. All right, so I went ahead and I finished the rest of my makeup off camera. I am back to let you guys know my final thoughts on this new foundation routine. I feel like I did like certain steps that I probably will keep in my current foundation routine. I did like the fact that I didn't use that much foundation. I'm not going to lie. I don't know, I just feel like it was a lot. Maybe I have to try it out not filming it and see how I feel about it, but I feel like for now I just felt like it was a lot of steps to save a little bit of foundation, and that's just me being completely honest. Will I continue doing my foundation the way that I do it now? Probably, but I will say I did like the fact that instead of dusting off the under eye, I really like worked it in, and I really love how smooth my under eyes look. Also, I'm like obsessed with my nails. Like, how pretty is this? I will link my nail girl in the description box as well. I tag her all the time on Instagram. She's really dope. I love her. She is so talented, obviously. Look at these nails. And also, I really love this shape on my hand. I have really big hands and she just like makes it work. Anyways, back to what we're here for. So like I said, I do like the fact that how smooth my under eyes look. I do feel my skin very light, like lightweight. I don't feel like I have anything on my skin, even though I really did set my skin with the translucent powder. Let me know in the comments down below this is how you've been doing your foundation and I'm just like brand new to it. I don't know, honestly. I just feel like I don't have any problem with the way that I do my foundation. Like I mentioned before, I just wanted to try something new, and trying something new always leads you somewhere else. I will start using that technique of pressing in the translucent powder, using the oil, which is something I would never do. You guys know me, I try to stay away from anything that's oil based. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.